Community to Community's vision is development with dignity. No shame, no pity. We amplify dignity and progress led by the people of Petit Guave. In a world too often defined by headlines, something incredible is happening. Communities here don't just survive, they are working hard to thrive. Community to Community is working with the people of Petit Guave to restore vital resources. A much-needed canal is built one hand at a time. Roads are carved into a mountain with simple tools, bringing safe passage to their children and elders. This is development with dignity. And while access to continuous healthcare is saving lives, trees planted today will nourish future generations. Each person is building, planting, and teaching. We are not the heroes. You are. The person willing to support this movement and say, yes, I want to be a restorer of dignity. Join Community to Community.
All right, and just like that, here we are. I had a boss who was extremely difficult to work with. He was really smart, but he just really did not understand leadership. For me, leadership is undergirding the people that work with you, work for you, making sure that they have everything that they need in order to do the job that you're giving them to do, right? This person had a very patronizing leadership style, and not even a good parent patronizing and paternal, but pitting us against each other. I remember going to a meeting once, and he told me to watch one of my colleagues and said that he didn't trust them, but he trusted me. And so he said, you know, you're my favorite. So while you're there, keep an eye on so-and-so, just report back to me and let me know what they're saying in the meeting. I thought, wow. I thought two things, honestly. One, did I give him the impression that I would do that? And two, wow, why would he think I would do that? So I was in such shock, I did not reply. And when I was at the meeting, I just participated and I did not report back to him. I learned later that he had asked my colleague to do the same thing for that same meeting, told him that he was his favorite and that he didn't trust me. So he wanted my colleague to watch me in the meeting and report back. I also learned later that at a team meeting that we had, that we were trying to put a program together, and I had put a program like that together in a previous job. And I said, oh, I know how to do this. Let me submit this proposal and, share that I know how to do it. So I presented it at the meeting, and he said, this isn't the type of thing that I think will work here, but, thank you for sharing this with us. I'll keep it in case another opportunity, should arise. So I was a little disappointed, but I just started the role. So I completely trusted that he knew the culture. And so he would, know when it was best or if it was a good fit or not. Months passed by, and that same colleague that he had asked me to watch for him and report back because he didn't trust him, came to me and said, listen, I just want you to know that he actually presented your idea to the senior executive in the senior executive meeting and presented it as his own. Y'all know how that saying, God don't like ugly? God really doesn't. Because at the end of the day, when he tried to implement it, it wouldn't work. And so he had to come back to me and say, hey, we actually did decide to put the program together. I'm going to need you to, oversee it. He never admitted that he took my idea. He never admitted that he presented it to the executive team. But sometimes you don't have to go after what you can attract. While I was overseeing the program, not only did the executive management notice the work that I was doing, they actually asked me to come and unpack it more for them and decided to replicate it at the other locations, right? And this thing about leadership and about how do you lead and knowing what type of leadership style you have is so important. I'm a servant leader. I lead from the side and from the back. It is important to me that I undergird my team, make sure that they have everything that they need to get what needs to get done. I believe that is my job, because if they're not looking around for whatever resource that they need, they're going to get their job done. But if they are, then that means their eyes are off the prize. Leadership is so important, especially when you come to lead people who may not even know you. And you get an opportunity to make a first impression. Like, are you a benevolent leader or a malevolent one? Have you come to be out front to steal everybody's ideas, to pit people against each other? Or have you come to create community? And I say this often, I don't come to create competition. I come to create community, because I do believe that when you have community, you actually have solutions, because you have a diversity of thought, you have a diversity of culture, you have a diversity of ideas. And when you make it so that there's no hierarchy for the ideas, that means anybody can bring anything to the table. We'll throw it on the wall, we'll see if it sticks. And even in C2C, their ideas I brought to the team, they were like, no. And I had to submit to that, because the goal is, does this idea meet our vision of development with dignity and our mission to create self-sufficient communities? If it doesn't meet those two requirements, it doesn't matter if it's the CEO and the fire starter of the organization or an intern. We are on equal footing when we are presenting ideas, because we know that if we're working together, that's how we get things done. So today for me is important, because I want to welcome you back to Restoring Dignity with C2C. I want to thank you, because I don't know if I said this last week, but we made 25 episodes last week. We hit our 25th episode. So I want to shout out my producer, Connie KCU, who literally has produced all 25 of them. And prior to her, we had a grand total. Let's see if I carry the 1 and subtract the 7, and if I 0, a grand total of 0. And now we have 25. And this one is 26. So clearly, right, we're a quarter in, and I'm already looking at the 100th episode, right? I just jumped 50 and 75. So I'm happy to have you all here today, because I am your host. And if you're joining live, welcome. If you're watching the replay, thank you that you made time to do that. I appreciate it. So I am Marie-Yolene Toms. I am the Firestarter and CEO for Community to Community, and I am your host for Restoring Dignity with C2C. Today's episode is personal, but it's also strategic. because today I'm pulling back the curtain on how we do this work, how this leading this organization, how do we do leadership? How do we do service? How do we do development the C2C way? You're going to get an opportunity to see it and to learn it today. And then I'm going to make an invitation to you. Something for you to think about what can you do? How can you engage in the work that we are doing? So let me see if I can get my, yay, there they are. All right, so today we're talking about community-led development and why and how and why this word with changed everything. Everything, right? So I want to start out with the truth. Too often, and by that I mean most of the time, too often development is done to communities, is done on them, is done around them, and not with them. Not with them. And the results, technically, they show it. They show it. You can always tell when the people have not been included in the decisions, right? So when communities aren't leading, projects don't last, solutions don't fit, and systems collapse when the outsiders leave. That is the patriarchal, post-colonization, and arguably patronizing way of doing the work that we do. These folks don't need to be saved. And when you have that attitude that you're going to come fix people or that they don't have any idea how to do anything and you're going to teach them everything, you are epic fail at the starting line. So if I can save you some of the mindset and the epic fails that you will have if you continue on that mindset, then I feel like I've done my work for today, right? So as I said, the results show it, because when development happens without community leadership, it just does not work. But when you do it with the community, there's a whole shift. When development is done with the community, something changes. People stop feeling like recipients on a one-way street and start walking in their rightful roles as leaders on a two-way street. This is development with dignity. This is how C2C does things. From 2010, when this organization was born, I can say, the community has been at the table. And it's a humbling experience, I'm not going to lie, especially when you think you know everything and you think you're going to fix everything. I love this picture because it's generational. Responsable Jean, who's the leader of APHD, our Mountainside Partner Community, and that is Responsable Fabien, he's the accountant. And those are children that I remember when they were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And to see them now in the APHD shirts, letting me know that the second generation, the generation behind both of these men, and they're also women members of APHD as well, that they are already bringing these youth in by letting them be at the table now, so that when they pass the baton, they will have someone to pass it to. This is development with dignity. And this is C2C's anchor. This is how, as the children say, this is how we get down, right? So at C2C, community to community, we do not believe in charity. Not charity that creates dependency. We believe in partnership that creates power, that supports sustainable self-sufficiency. Our vision is simple: development with dignity. Our mission is clear: creating self-sufficient communities by working with the community. Not for them, not around them, not on top of them, with them. I want to be clear about this. Because if the people who live in the community are not leading the solutions, then the solution is not sustainable. Let me say it another way. If you build a school, but the community cannot maintain it, if you build a water system, but there's no ownership, if you deliver medical services, but there's no local infrastructure, if the people you're trying to help are not at the table, fully engaged in problem solving, bringing their insights, experiences, and solution, you are not helping them to help themselves. You're hurting them. What you created is not development. It's a temporary fix. And the truth is, Haiti doesn't need any more temporary fixes. Haiti needs investment. Haiti needs trust, trustworthy people. Haiti needs partnership with trustworthy people. Haiti needs people willing to listen and come alongside, not lead and tell grown people what to do. As my pastor would say, that PSA was free. So, why the word with is revolutionary? With means the community defines the priorities. The community identifies the solutions. The community implements the work. The community protects the result. And the community benefits long after donors, missions groups, and NGOs have moved on. Even now, an excellent example of that is Hurricane Melissa in October 2025. It is now February 2026. Yes, there was a lot of press because Cuba, Jamaica, and Haiti were the hardest hit. But within 24 hours, the news cycle had moved on. There was something else going on somewhere else. So they were gone. So, but was the impact of Hurricane Melissa, was the people who lost their homes, over 400 of them, was that over? Were the more than 1,600 displaced people, were the mothers and the fathers who had to dig their children who died out of mud, was it over for them? Was the community who had to have 18 funerals in one day, was it over for them? No, it wasn't. They had to continue. While they were grief-stricken, while they had lost their homes, while they didn't know where food or water or anything else was coming from. This word with, it levels the playing field. Because you may not have been poor in your life, but I promise you, I know you've been vulnerable. You may have been in a situation where you did not feel safe. So your humanity is their humanity, and their humanity is yours. We've all been scared. We've all been fragile. We've all been vulnerable. Whether we are rich, poor, black, white, gay, straight, it doesn't matter. This is how we remember and we anchor ourselves. This word with. This is how we get out of the things we got into. This is how we help our neighbor. This is how we help a complete stranger. For me, this word with has revolutionized the way that I think. And language matters. This is why we don't call our partner communities and our APHD and ODCP beneficiaries. We call them what they are, stakeholders. They have a stake in their community becoming self-sufficient, their community thriving, their children going to school, having access to a health and wellness center, and having access to health care, period. So they are not passively waiting for us to build anything or to do anything. They're fixing the road. They're planting the trees. They constructed the school. And they did that with us, and we did that with them. They're the leaders, the builders, the decision makers, and the partners. Why? Because development should never strip people of their dignity. Development should restore it. My dad used to say, when you meet someone and you're trying to help them and you realize you cannot help them, don't hurt them. Don't leave them in a worse condition than you found them. Better for you to leave them exactly as you found them than to hurt them. And I think oftentimes folks who have well-meaning and well-intention, but even the Bible says that zealousness without knowledge is dangerous. So before I tell you I'm going to help you, I should ask you, what help do you need? And I should be okay with the fact that maybe the help you need, I can't provide. And if I can't, I will do my best to find out who can. And maybe the help that I'm bringing you don't need. And maybe it's not about me feeling good. Because sometimes that is the thing we're chasing, right? The do-gooders of the world. But if the good you didn't do good, are you a do-gooder? Can you confirm that the help you gave actually helped? Or did you walk away believing that it did? Two totally different things. This is something that is so important to me, is to know, did the help I engaged in really help? And are the people I'm working with, do we share that same value? I want to introduce you to the soul of C2C's work. C2C partners with 2 local community stakeholder associations in Petit Guave. APHD, or APHD, serves the Mountainside Partner Community, and they represent a rural, isolated community of about 1,200 families. They're responsible for organizing the residents, mobilizing labor, protecting infrastructure, managing and implementation, reporting progress. And let me tell you something. These are men and women of integrity, character, and moral fiber. Their load is heavy, and their leadership is real. Our second partner is ODCP, or ODCP. They are also in Petit Guave, but in Petit Guave proper, not the Mountainside. They focus heavily on organizing their community in emergency response, health and sanitation, infrastructure support, and canal construction, which you've heard me talk about a lot. What you need to know is that ODCP and APHD are not waiting for someone to save them. They are doing what communities do best, coming together to create change. And C2C's job is to support them, not replace them. Trust-based partnerships are important. So let's talk about trust. Trust-based partnerships are not popular in development. I've learned this because trust requires patience, it requires time, and it's also on both sides because it's a relationship. It's much easier to just go do for people you don't know and don't let them in. Not into your heart, not into your mind, nowhere. But I promise you, if you do that, they won't change, and neither will you. And what's easy isn't always better. And what's better isn't always easy. Choose better. It's harder. but it is better. Trust requires humility. Trust requires accountability. But trust is the foundation of sustainability. And this is what we've learned over 15 years. You cannot build a self-sufficient community without trust. That's why C2C doesn't do drive-by development. We don't show up, take pictures, hand out supplies, and disappear. That's how we got in the situation that the country is in now. We build long-term relationships because these communities don't need saviors. They need partners. Now, let me connect this to what we're doing right now. We are preparing for our annual fundraiser, the Gerard and Ghislaine Golf Classic, named after my parents. Woo! Shout out to VA Africa, CK and Stella and their team. They handle our social media, and I love that. That Save the Date is fire. And some of you may be asking, what does golf have to do with development? Everything, because golf is not the mission. Golf is the tool, right? Golf helps us raise the resources needed so APHD can build their own future. And this year, I'm excited to share that we are partnering with the New York Birdies Golf Club. The goal is clear. Raise the funds to break ground on the Bonadruissel Health and Wellness Center. The center will become the permanent home of our continuous care initiative. And what makes this different? Responsable Jeune is the architect and the engineer. What you are seeing right now, these are his drawings that we use to create this rendering. The community is building it. Every Sunday, they are taking up special collection for this construction. So they are, like I said, the stakeholders, they are invested in this. And those who don't have the funds to give are donating their time and tools. APHD is managing it. APHD will operate it. This is Haitian-built, Haitian-led. That is community-led development. This is development with dignity. So I want to close with this. The difference between charity and dignity is ownership. And the difference between aid and development is partnership. That is why we work with the community, because with changes everything. At the top, I told you about my boss. In life, I've learned people that come across your path will either teach you how to do something or how not to do something. And despite my experience with this person, I can say that I learned valuable lessons, right? As they say, chew the meat, spit out the bones. I learned how not to be a leader from this person. I learned that despite their best efforts, we still created community within the department because community knows community. And I'm here not to create competition. I'm here to create community. And that is the kind of leader I am. So if you believe in community-led development, if you believe dignity should be the standard, if you believe Haiti deserves more than headlines and drive-bys, then I invite you to become a C2C neighbor. I am a C2C neighbor, even though I'm the CEO and the fire starter of this organization. C2C neighbors are monthly donors who sustain community-led development that lasts. They help us to show up consistently. They help us stay accountable. They help us to keep building. As I said, I am a C2C neighbor. And shout out to all the C2C neighbors watching. I invite you to join us and be a part of something greater than yourself. Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu said, "Go to the people, live with them, learn from them, love them. Start with what they know, build with what they have." And with the best leaders, when the work is done, the task completed and accomplished, the people will say, "We have done this ourselves." Lao Tzu's quote points to an important characteristic about leadership. People are most likely to buy in and take ownership and accountability when they are actively involved in the creative process. The people in a community are usually the best source to solve the problems of that community. This is why APHD and ODCP have been at the table since C2C was created after the 2010 Haiti earthquake. So I'll ask you, when you look at your work, whether as a business owner, entrepreneur, supervisor, or employee, at the job, in your family and community, do you work with the people in your life? Do they feel seen, heard? When or where in your work, family, and community do you think that you can work with them to create the futures that they desire? Meon Pil Shai Palu is a Haitian proverb meaning, "With many hands, the load is lighter." It speaks to the spirit of working together to get the job done, because as long as the job gets done, who cares who gets the credit? And speaking of getting the job done, I will be speaking at a Hurricane Melissa update produced by the Haitian Women's Collective. So it's going to be on February the 25th, and you can register. The link to register is in the comments. I hope that you saw some of my heart today. I hope that you understand more what C2C not is trying to do, what C2C is doing. That's what I want you to see. What we are doing and have been doing for the last 15 years. There's a place for you here if you share our values, if you share this mindset, this mission, this movement that we started of development with dignity. Bring your gifts, bring your talents, bring your abilities, bring your time, bring your talent, bring your treasure. Because if you want to leave a real legacy, do it with community to community. Our partners, our supporters, our C2C neighbors, our partners on the ground, ODCP, APHD. The train has left the station and it's only picking up steam. So this is your opportunity. Just go to c2chaiti.org, see what we're doing, and don't be a spectator, but become a participant in the work. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. Pour Haïti, chérie, for Haiti, my heart, I say thank you, and I look forward to seeing you. Merci en pile. See you next week on Restoring Dignity with C2C.